Welcome to InformOverload, the show where we take the top trending topics on the internet and then make them more entertaining. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and to never miss another exciting video, click that subscribe button and ring the bell to join our notification squad. Because, how cool would it be if we hit 2 million subscribers? Do that. Share this with your friends. Let's get there together, guys. Now, your beloved Potato Queen did the part 1 for this video, and you enjoyed it so much, she tasked me with bringing you the part 2. The Queen touched on some really terrifying events that took place because of movies, books, and TV shows such as The Purge, Dexter, and Catcher in the Rye. So my duty as the Bacon King is to find you more of that without mentioning anything from the first video. The only way to find out if I found something more shocking is by staying all the way until the end, because you won't believe our #1 spot. Ooh-wee, let's give it a whirl and see what I've come up with in today's list of the top 10 shocking crimes inspired by fictional characters part 2. In at number 10, Money Train. Who would have ever thought that this 1995 buddy cop action film starring Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson would lead to such heinous crimes being committed in real life? In the movie, a fictional character without a job plans to hijack the Money Train, a train that is hauling subway revenue and guarded by trigger-happy transit cops. Not too long after the movie's release, someone was a little too inspired by the wrong character and took it upon themselves to blow up a New York City subway toll booth. A similar thing happens in the movie, but because it's a movie, the man working the booth escapes just in the nick of time. Unfortunately, in real life, we're not that quick. The firebombing ended up taking the life of a 50-year-old man and was the precedent to start a campaign that advocated against violence in film. In at number 9, Grand Theft Auto 3. I said I was going to do something different in this part 2, and boy oh boy is this one different. Instead of being inspired by a fictional character in a book, film, or television show, we have some crimes being inspired directly from a video game. Ooh, controversial. Rockstar Games is no stranger to controversy and has always provided games with the most obscene levels of violence possible. Allegedly, this game really hit a nerve with a group of friends in Oakland, California who drew inspiration from the game's events to commit crimes in real life. The group calls themselves the Nutcases. Yeah, for real, this stuff just writes itself. Well, the Nutcases would play GTA 3, and when they wanted a break from the game, they took to the streets to continue terrorizing civilians. They killed 5 people while doing this and stuck to their story that the game inspired them to do so. One of the nuts even said, "We played the game by day and lived the game by night." Some creepy stuff. In at number 8, Child's Play 3. This 1991 slasher film is the continuation of that creepy killer doll Chucky. You ever wonder why so many adults are terrified of dolls? That character is literally why. Well, it did more than just strike fear into kids, it also oddly inspired some real life shocking events. To this day, the movie is not to be mentioned in the UK after it was alluded to being the source for the real life murder of child James Bulger, as well as the murder of Suzanne Capper. In the case of James Bulger, 2 10-year-old boys kidnapped James and later killed the toddler, probably assuming that he was actually a Chucky doll. Who knows? In at number 7, Robocop II. For those of you who are too young to remember, Robocop is an American science fiction film set in a dystopian future. Although the movie got mixed reviews from critics, it was generally praised for its special effects and action-packed scenes. The villain in this film is a ruthless killer that does a lot of really nasty things throughout. When a man named Nathaniel White was watching the movie, he drew inspiration from the villain rather than the hero. White claims that the inspiration for his murderous rampage came while watching Robocop 2. In a statement to police for his confession, Nathaniel said, "The first girl I killed was from a Robocop movie," meaning the way in which he killed was the same as the villain did, adding, "With the first person I killed, I did exactly what I saw in the movie." Overall, Nathaniel White confessed to the murders of 6 women and attributed all of his motivations to this movie. In at number 6, The Secret Agent. The Secret Agent was a novel written by author Joseph Conrad and published back in 1907. The novel revolves around anarchy, espionage, and terrorism, and due to its themes of terrorism, it is often cited as inspiration following similar acts of extreme violence. Interestingly enough though, the work of Joseph Conrad was inspired by a French anarchist in 1894 who died when the explosives he was carrying went off prematurely. It was believed the man was attempting to bomb the Greenwich Observatory. However, fast forward to the late 1970s and a man named Ted Kaczynski, better known as the Unabomber, found himself strongly connected to a character in the book called The Professor. Between 1978 and 1995, Ted had killed 3 people and injured 23 while attempting to start a revolution. To do so, he was crafting bombs and targeting those who had any involvement with modern technology. Overall, he created 16 bombs that detonated in various locations across the United States, and when caught by the FBI, he confirmed that his crimes were inspired by the book The Secret Agent. In at number 5, Fight Club. This movie had far greater consequences than just setting up some new underground bare-knuckling boxing clubs. The movie also touches on organized terrorism, or as it's referred to in the film, Project Mayhem. This was a big motivating factor for a teenager named Kyle Shaw. Kyle, who is better known as the Manhattan Starbucks bomber, constructed a bomb made from fireworks explosives, a plastic bottle, and electrical tape, then proceeded to attack a Starbucks on the Upper East Side. The 17-year-old was arrested, and in a statement to police he said that he wanted to emulate the assault on corporate America planned by a character in the movie Fight Club, which was Tyler Durden, played by Brad Pitt. Come on, Brad. Gotta do better. In at number 4, The Matrix. The Matrix was a revolutionary movie in 1999 and stars Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne. Many people marveled at the possibility the film put forward that we were all just living in the Matrix. For some criminals though, they took the plot of this fictional movie way too far. It led to a lot of heinous crimes, which included 2 teenagers killing their landlord and then telling the police that they had been sucked into the Matrix. Perhaps the most vicious attack inspired by this movie was the Washington Sniper. His name was John Allen Muhammad, and during an interview with a psychiatrist, he admitted to watching The Matrix more than 100 times, and that the film was behind his motives. In at number 3, American Psycho. This dark comedy / psychological horror film starring Christian Bale followed a wealthy New York investment banker called Patrick Bateman. 4 years following the film's release, a 14-year-old student named Michael Hernandez lured a friend into a bathroom stall where he would stab his victim 40+ times. Wow, that's a lot. This horrendous crime got Michael life in prison, and during his testimony, Hernandez cited that he modeled his odd behavior on the serial killer character in American Psycho. He also admitted that he drew some inspiration from the movie Silence of the Lambs. Most of these people seem to be scapegoating their own insanity onto the onus of fictional characters, but the South Florida student stated that he identified with the murderer and wanted to act out what he saw. It's as if he believed that the film somehow justified his feelings of wanting to be a serial killer. In at number 2, Natural Born Killers. Based on the original screenplay by Quentin Tarantino, this 1994 flick starring Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis was directed by Oliver Stone. In the film, 2 lovers go on a killing spree, and just like in the movie, a real-life couple decided they wanted to live out this plot in real life. 2 teens who were obsessed with the film decided to carry out a series of copycat murders that they would later boast about to their friends. They even copy the murders in the movie scene for scene, starting with robbing and shooting the owner of a liquor store. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, Rage. This book by author Stephen King is perhaps one of his most controversial pieces of all time. The novel goes in depth about a school shooting, and as a result is often associated with real-life school shooting incidents. It obviously goes without saying that this was never Stephen King's intention, but nonetheless it has led to people being encouraged to commit similar crimes as detailed in the book. In California, a student held his class hostage, later stating that he got the idea from the book Rage. Not too long after that event, another teen in Kentucky held his class hostage for a total of 9 hours. And in 1996, a 14-year-old boy killed 2 of his classmates as well as his teacher in Washington, D.C. Then again, another 14-year-old in Kentucky killed 3 people after opening fire on a prayer group in his school. When arresting the last boy from Kentucky, the police found a copy of Rage in his locker. During the court proceedings, the prosecution stated that the book had indirectly inspired these crimes. And following that last event, Stephen King was so shocked that he requested the book never be printed again. Now, I haven't done this in a while, so let's check out some of your comments from the video titled Top 10 Famous Kids That Need to Be Stopped. And y'all had lots of opinions. Catherine Sharf says, if you keep giving them attention, good or bad, they'll just keep doing what they're doing. This is true. This is true. But they gotta be stopped. We gotta do it, sorry. VOVO says, I love Lil Tay, she tried so hard and it makes me laugh. She was pretty hilarious, it's just sad that she got kind of forced into acting that way, you know? If she did it on her own, sure, that would have been fine. Abe De Silva says, stopped? These kids need to be dropped into an active volcano. Whoa, take it easy, Abe, jeez. Active volcano, maybe frozen in a chamber, that would be good. Kinsey Sweet says, I couldn't focus on what he was saying. LOL, all I see is that arm bouncing. I actually have this rare disease called SA. It stands for spaghetti arms, so don't hate. Elizabeth Nugent says, can I get a shout out please? I love your vids. Of course you can. Here's your shout out and thanks for being here with us. And that has been the top 10 shocking crimes inspired by fictional characters part 2. Thank you so much for watching IO, and if you enjoyed this video, show some love here by tapping that like and subscribe button. And if you find any news stories that you want us to cover, make sure you send the link in a DM to our Instagram page at InformOverload. If we like it, you may just see your story on our channel. Plus, leave us a comment down below of which crime from our list shocked you the most. And for more videos like this one, just click that playlist on the side of the screen. From IO, my name is Johnny Rogers, and until next time, take care. Stop. So my duty is... Oh, this fucking guy. As soon as I said Dexter.
Safe word.
Have you been recording still this whole time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. To start a campaign that advocated. Advocate? You ever advocate? A man named Ted Kaczynski. Perhaps the most vicious. I'm like an old car starting up.
That was all one word.
I'm just talking like a million miles a minute.